gorgeous ladies of the Femme Fatale program. How are you today? I'm so excited for this module. This is actually one of my favorite ones. It is called The Science of Love. We've got women saging over here. We've got all the vibes. I'm so excited. So today is the science of love, and why I like to put this one so early on in the program now, because it used to come in later in the first few rounds that I ran this, is because I think sometimes it's easier, especially for the more masculine-minded women, to understand that there's actually a science behind all this woo-woo stuff. And for me, I needed to have this feeling that this wasn't being pulled out of thin air. Like, what's the science behind this? How do I prove that this works? And once I can trust that it works, then it's a lot easier for me to open my mind and open my heart and drop and trust and be like, okay, I'm willing to experience this now, but I needed to get it first. Melissa's all dolled up in her brand new hair with her silky robe, and she's so excited. These are the vibes that I love. I'm seeing twinkling lights and sage and beautiful people, and this is what I love. So the science of love is so important, because who here has ever experienced in their life thinking that being feminine meant being super girly, and all it means is like you got to dress up and wear makeup and high heels and that makes you feminine? Like, who has had that cheapened awareness of what femininity has kind of been told to be? And you're like, if that's what feminine is, I'm not, and I don't relate to it, or I don't want to be it, or I rebel against it. Some of you are like, yeah, that's what it is. Isn't that all it is? I'm super feminine. You know, I'm super feminine. Why isn't this stuff working? I wear high heels and makeup and all the things. Why aren't I manifesting? I'm super feminine. So I want to talk to you about the depth of womanhood and femininity in this program, because we are so much more than we're taught to be. Women are the most incredible creatures on the face of the planet. And in the next call, in the next module, we're going to talk about how connected and divinely intensely connected to the universe we are. But today we're going to go a little less woo. We're going to go straight for the science of things. So women are very special because they work a lot with emotions. Now, when I speak about women and men, I want you to also know some women have more masculine tendencies. Some women have more masculine, more feminine. Like, it depends what your ratio is. So when I'm speaking about women, I'm speaking about on the regular, there's always exceptions, but women are more emotional than men are. We get upset at things. We make things mean things. We have an ability to be more emotional. And this is actually an amazing thing. Unless we have no idea what to do with it, then all of a sudden it becomes this like out of control feeling. Like, I don't like being emotional because I have no control over myself. If you've ever experienced feeling like I don't like being emotional because I feel like it means I'm losing control, or people are going to judge me for being emotional. I've got girls going like, we spoke about this today. So if you've ever felt this, just know this module is going to be huge for that. So the science of love is that there's actually a scientific reason, a proven reason for why we fall in love and what it actually means to be in love. So when you first meet a person, you don't actually fall in love with the person. Who here's ever experienced feeling like you were in love and literally you'd been on like 2 dates in your whole life? And it was like, I think I'm in love with this person. I could marry this person now. You feel it immediately, like, oh no, Erin, yes. So we have this feeling and it takes over us and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. It's immediate. Like, I feel it. I'm in love. What is that? Love at first sight, right? The fairy tale, the love at first sight. What does it even mean? You don't know the person. How can you be in love with them? Kiki's like, hormones. How do you fall in love with them? Is it their vibe? The way they look? The way they smell? Like, what makes you fall in love? The crazy thing is we don't fall in love with them. We fall in love with how we feel about ourselves when we're with them. When I'm around you, I feel like I can freaking fly. When I'm around you, I feel beautiful. I feel sexy. I feel like I could tear my clothes off and not care what I look like. Around you, I feel turned on and alive. and I am in love with this feeling. So now I'm in love with you. And we interact like this with people, not just the men we date or the people that we date. We fall in love with friends like that as well. Have you ever had a soulmate friend who you're like, when I am with you, it's immediate. You're my friend. Like, I feel it forever. You're my friend. Like, we were meant to meet. Yes. So we fall in love with people because of the way we feel about ourselves when we're with them. This is not a bad thing. The only time it becomes a bad thing is when our standard of love for ourselves is extremely low. Because if my standard of self-love is extremely low, how easy is it for me to meet a man who makes me feel better than I feel on my own? It's like that. The second you feel seen, the second you feel important, that's it. You're in love. He doesn't even need to do much at all. You're in love. Because being alone feels bad. Being with ourselves feels bad. And anything feels like an upgrade from that. Keely says, this is the lesson I want a friend of mine to learn so bad. I wish I could get her to invest in herself and take this. Stephanie says, I guess I have so much self-love because Eric was the first one. You'll notice you've got friends, they've got so many men running after them, and they're like, I don't know, there's just something. You're like, how? If I had a guy that handsome running after me, I'd be like, yes. Or like, you have so many, just pick one. Their level of self-worth is so high that it takes a lot for a guy to take over. And what about women who are able to fall out of love so quickly? Like, I felt so good around you, and now I realize I used to feel better on my own, so you're out. Women who have lower self-esteem is like, no matter how bad you are, this never feels as bad as when I'm alone. So one of the biggest mistakes we make is we fall in love with people before we fall in love with ourselves. And as young girls, as teenagers, as young women, we're actually never taught how incredible we are and how to love ourselves and what that means. We're not taught this. And we can't really be upset at anyone for not teaching us, because sadly, they weren't taught either. Some of your mothers are struggling with this, and they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. They're struggling. Why are they struggling so hard? They're a parent. They should know by now. Who here's a parent? Raise your hand if you're a parent. So, shouldn't you know this by now? You're a parent. You're a grown-up. Where's the transition? And the hard thing of dogs, yes. The hard thing is your kids are always going to expect that you should know. And the reason they expect that you should know is because you talk to them like you know best. And for a long time, your kids will think you know everything. And one day they'll realize you didn't. And that's a really awful moment in a child's life. Who remembers the moment they realized their mom was not perfect? Like, oh, you are so full of crap. I used to think you could fly, and now I realize you are full of crap. That is a really difficult time. I actually believe, Shelly says, after 6 kids and this being around 5, I feel like I should just know everything by now. Nope. Samantha says, my mom jumped out of her bedroom window to be with my dad. What chance did I have to know any better? Parents don't know everything. They don't. And you know this the minute you're a parent. You're like, well, I clearly haven't upgraded to the knowing it all category, so I think I understand. But we think our parents know, they should know, because we learned everything we know from them, which is not always a great thing. So what is the science of love? The science of love is that there's actually a chemical that is released in your body when you're happy. If you had to say, what do you think is responsible? What is the hormone in your understanding that you think would be the most important for women in order to feel like love and joy? Someone said serotonin. What do you believe? What do you believe it is? I want to hear all the ideas. Oxytocin. Sometimes women say, not testosterone, but estrogen. Okay, serotonin. So there's all kinds of different hormones. This is why you'll say women are hormonal. There's a lot of different hormones that make a difference in a woman's behavior, but oxytocin is the love hormone. It's called the cuddle hormone. It's the hormone that's released when you're breastfeeding your baby. Oxytocin, the closeness hormone. In the first few months when you meet someone, oxytocin is actually created without any help at all. You get a huge jolt of oxytocin in your system. So who's noticed that when you first meet a guy, you are like, you shave your legs every day, you eat less, you shower more, your hair's always done, you buy new clothes, you feel like so sexy. Who's noticed this? Yeah. It's like, where was this sexy vixen? It must be the guy, right? It must be the guy. Or else, why would I be feeling like I've never felt this way before? Now, the thing is, in the first 3 months, oxytocin, been there, where did you go? In the first 3 months, oxytocin free flows. It's the chemical that makes you able to let another person in and be like, wow. The issue is we are responsible and we are capable of creating our own oxytocin, but we don't know how to do it because nobody's ever taught us how to do it. And people don't even know that oxytocin is the reason you feel all the feels in the beginning in the first place. What happens after the first 3 months? All of a sudden, you're like, you used to be so romantic. He's like, what do you mean? I do the same things now that I did then. No, you used to write me, good morning, gorgeous. I still write you good morning, gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you said it differently. Like, you took me out. We went on date. We still do that. We went out last night. Yeah, but no, like, you did it differently. No, he didn't do it differently. It felt differently because you were high on oxytocin. So the issue is that if you don't know how to create your own oxytocin, your relationships will look like, that's what they will feel like. I am on cloud 9. This is crap. Where did it go? Where did the romance go? The saddest thing is where women get caught is they feel so in love and they're so sure that it's the guy that they will sometimes go and they'll realize who the guy is after 3 months, be like, this guy isn't all that great. But I felt so good in the beginning, and they will fight to the death to try to get that romance back. Because if he could do it in the beginning, he should be able to do it again. Who here has stayed in a relationship way too long, knowing you should go, but somehow you were trying to bring the magic back and it's not coming back? And why isn't it coming back? It was there. It should come back. Look at all these yeses. Can you imagine if you knew that the first 3 months you'd be riddled with oxytocin and that you should only probably open your eyes to the actual person after 3 months? And that your job is to keep the oxytocin high or the whole thing crumbles? Can you imagine how different your relationships would have been if you would have known this thing you're feeling? It's a chemical in your brain. It only lasts 3 months. If you don't take care of keeping it up, it's going to crash. Also, this guy, you're only going to really know what he's like after 3 months. So enjoy these 3 months. Be romantic all you want. Work on yourself, because in 3 months, you're going to find out whether this is actually great or if it was just oxytocin. Now, some people, when I say this, get really offended. They're like, what do you mean? I just met a new guy last month. He's perfect. Are you telling me that it's going to all crumble and it's not real? No. I'm not telling you it's all going to crumble, but I'm telling you that what you're feeling right now, if you don't learn how to keep it up, it will fall. Even if the guy is perfect, even if the guy is incredible, this sense of I can fly, it wears off. I've been with Kevin now for 6 years. Singing, maybe it's love, maybe it's oxytocin. That's amazing. So Kevin and I have been together for six years almost. And I've had relationships that felt like hell after 6 years. And with him, I feel in love, more in love all the time, every day, all the time. But I work on my own oxytocin. Now, one of the things that triggers oxytocin the most is testosterone. When you're around a man with testosterone, your oxytocin is through the roof. And what do you think triggers testosterone in men? Take a wild guess. What triggers testosterone in men? Women? Oxytocin. Your level of oxytocin makes his testosterone go up, and his level of testosterone makes your oxytocin go up. Testosterone in men also skyrockets in the beginning of a relationship. So you're both high on the most incredible lovemaking juju on the face of the planet. And then all of a sudden it's like, ah! And the less oxytocin you have, the less testosterone he has. And then it's just a downward spiral. So let's see some of the comments here. Hey, Julia's back. That's awesome. Julie says, biologically, this would make sense for reproduction. Nature doesn't care about love. It doesn't. It's like, hey, be attracted to each other. Have a bunch of sex for 3 months. Something's going to come of this. And then, you can go your separate ways. But now that we're trying to make long-term relationships work, that's not really great. I want to make my own oxytocin. That's what we're going to learn how to do in this program. It's a big part of it. Christina says, Femme Fatale changed my sex life with my husband. Love me some oxytocin. Yes. And Mary says, does the oxytocin release into the guy's system for the 3 months too? So he gets testosterone for 3 months. So you'll notice that he smells nice. He's got the perfume. He goes to the gym. He gets turned on like this. You can smell it off him. Like, he doesn't need to try. He doesn't try to give you sexy bedroom eyes that annoy you. He doesn't come on begging for it like he does a year and a half later. Like, you wanna, like, you don't ever get that vibe from him. It's just like, he walks into a room and you can feel it. Like, the tension is hot. And it's like, yes, you're both into it so much. And it's effortless because they're high on oxytocin. They're high on testosterone. We're high on oxytocin. I'm so in this phase. Erin's totally in the love bubble. So this is so fun, but what happens when it crashes? Mary says, what will happen to all the weirdos who you don't want to attract? Unfortunately, you do. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in a second. You're going to attract, when you are in your oxytocin phase, you're going to attract a whole bunch of guys. You ever notice that when you finally say, okay, fine, I finally met someone, now all of a sudden, everybody wants you, and while you were single and craving it, you can find one person to be interested. Now all of a sudden you meet a guy and they're all lining up. You're like, where have you been? What is happening? Men can smell the oxytocin. They're in your presence. Their testosterone goes right up like, ooh, this one's got the magic. We become magical when we're oxytocin filled. And the bottom line is, oxytocin is joy and connection. When you are happy and connected, men cannot get enough of you. And women sync up. We sync up in our periods and we sync up in our energy. So when you sense a woman with high oxytocin, you want to be right there. Like, this feels so good. I get to just be happy. It feels so great. So women want to be around oxytocin filled women, and men want to be around, like, you feel like Beyonce when you're high on oxytocin. Like, everybody wants a piece of you. If you only knew what this does for your business, to be the kind of person that people cannot get enough of, it's like magic in a bottle. People are just like, I want to be with you and I want to be you, and can we just spend all the time together? Oh. When you tap into your own power to create your own joy, you have become the kind of person that people cannot get enough of in the world. Men, women, you name it. Nicole's like, this is pure gold. Tracy says, I always wondered why I got more attention when I already had someone. This is my fourth round. You've blown my mind still. Christina says, basically, how I feel about you. Can a doctor give you an oxytocin shot? I actually read somewhere that they can, but I don't know. I want to teach you how to make it yourself. I'm the kind of person who likes to create things myself. Like, even in my business, you can get loads of people buy your programs by running ads. You can make a whole bunch of people buy your programs by having a sales funnel. You can do all that. I've really enjoyed doing it with my energy. Like, my business will have generated $1 million in 12 months through who I am. Not one sales funnel, not a website, not an ad, nothing, just me. That's what happens when you tap into oxytocin. I will tell you what happened for me this year is I ran this program every 2 months, and I lived this way all year. Because I sold Femme Fatale between sessions, I have been this way all year. Kevin and I have been together for almost 6 years now, and it's the year I invented Femme Fatale that I got this. I was very masculine energy before I understood all this stuff. It was the hustle, the grind, the hard work. What do I do? How do I do it? What does it mean? The numbers. And then all of a sudden it became the energy, the vibe, the way, the essence, the flow, the magic, the wealth, the love, the engagement, all the things. It changed who I became, and it's so much more fun to be me now than it was. Krista says, I sell coffee with oxytocin and it's fantastic. Okay, I might actually want some of that. Krista, not even joking. If that's a real thing, like, I think we all want the coffee. What is this oxytocin coffee? So oxytocin makes you the kind of person that is energetically irresistible. And you know what I mean when I say this, because there are people, they are not even necessarily the most handsome people, but you spend a few minutes with them and you're like, I am weirdly attracted to this person. What's up with that? Have you ever seen a really gorgeous woman, like stunning, and you see her man and you're like, huh, that is so interesting. Wonder what he's hiding down there makes that possible. Something about this. It's not, how did this happen? How do you pull that off? And sometimes you get the other way around. You see this guy, you're like, oh my gosh, he is stunning. And then he's like, oh, he has a girlfriend. Then you meet the girlfriend, you're like, how? Okay, there's hope for me. This is incredible. How is this happening? Because people fall in love with how they feel about themselves around us. They don't fall in love with us at first. They fall in love with how they feel about themselves around us. This is the key to life, and this is why people fall out of love. Because relationships become ugly because all of a sudden you enjoy making your partner feel bad. I'm gonna make him feel guilty for getting blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna make him feel, I'm jealous and I make him feel unsafe, or I make him feel this way or that way, or I'm gonna yell at him, or I'm gonna do whatever it is. And all of a sudden, he doesn't feel very good about himself at all. Now he feels not good enough and small and tiny and all the things. And it's the same thing for you. You used to feel so beautiful. You used to feel all the things. Then he stops telling you you're beautiful. He thinks you know. Just spent 3 hours in the bathroom getting ready and he doesn't even notice. It's like, can't you just notice? Like, I feel like crap right now. Maybe you catch him flirting with someone, flirting with the waitress at dinner, and you're like, this never used to happen. This feels awful. He chooses his friends over you for a night. Oh, I'm going to hang out with the guys tonight. And you're like, oh, what? How are you choosing other people over me? When you go for intimacy and he's like, I'm tired. I'm going to die. Like, you never forget those things. Because it makes you feel undeserving, not beautiful, not lovable, not sexy. It immediately triggers how you feel about you when he doesn't respond properly. You actually completely stop making about him at all. A lot of times women, before they'll even notice that their man is lacking something or there's something wrong for him, they'll make it mean something about themselves. He doesn't think I'm attractive anymore. He doesn't think this anymore. He doesn't think that anymore. We make it about ourselves immediately. So it's about how we feel about ourselves, not about how we feel about them. Tracy says, I have so many friends who are struggling in their relationships. Now I understand the why due to Femme Fatale. I used to do that when Tom and I fought. No more. That's huge. Yes. That's sad, but it's what they think. So what we have the choice to do, what we have the power to do as women, is to take complete ownership over our vibe, over who we are. And when we're not at our best, well, then things aren't at their best. You might think this is pressure. and it's hard. But when you think about it, if you could get yourself in a permanent state of joy, not just for other people, not just so people respond to you in the way you want, just if you could get yourself in a permanent state of joy, can you see that it would be a very different experience of life to be in your life. It would be such a different experience if you got to wake up every morning and be like, oh, I'm sexy, I'm going to the gym, I'm so excited, where's my lipstick? Like, if you woke up in the morning like, I'm wearing high heels and I want sex. Who's going to be my ideal person today? Like, where's my boyfriend? Where's my fiance? Where's my husband? What am I doing? I'm so sexy today. I feel so good about myself. Woo! Like, can you imagine if that was you? What kind of life it would be to wake up every morning like, hallelujah, like I'm alive. It's so great. It's not hard. It just feels hard when you're not in it. When you're like, oh, how do I go from here to there? That feels exhausting. I understand that. But that's the same feeling you feel when he wants to be intimate with you and you're like, oh my gosh, why don't I want this? Like, I want you, but just the thought of it makes me want to sleep. Like, ugh. Nicole says, this is who my goddess told me I abandoned, that oxytocin girl. Amazing how it all comes together. Yes. She didn't say oxytocin. My husband would die. He'd be in bliss. So your vibe dictates your entire relationship. And women tend to think that men should be more romantic and men should be blah, blah, blah. But the issue is something has to come first. The chicken or the egg. Like, you can't always wait for him to do it unless he's in one of Kevin's programs, and he's learning sexuality and he wants to do all that stuff, then yes, absolutely. And sure, you can co-create together. If he really wants to be in it, not if you put him in there. That's a very big distinction, may I just say. If he wants to learn for himself and he's getting all the words and he's being explained how his testosterone works and how to turn you on with being a man, if he's learning that, if he's in Word of Man or in Respect and he's learning how to do these things or in 9 ways, yeah. But if not, you're the woman, you're here, you start. So how do you make him want to have more testosterone? How do you make him want to tap into his manliness? You've got to be the woman that he wants to perform for. So we have a big issue as women, is that we learned love mostly from our mom. So we tend to think that love is like, the nurturing, loving energy. Like, that's not actually a feminine energy most of the time. It's a feminine energy when you've got a newborn and you're holding your newborn for one moment of bliss. But the moment where the baby's puking, the moment where the baby's screaming, the moment where the baby needs feeding, you're in masculine mode. Get the thing, chase that. As soon as the kid grows up, oh, careful, he's going to walk into this, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Oh, whoop, masculine energy. No, you can't go there. No, your friend can't come over. You've got homework to do. You are going to eat your vegetables. You're not going to have dessert. Masculine energy. You do not talk to me like that. Apologize to your sister. Sit down. Go in your room. Masculine energy. No, you can't take the car. Sit down. Do not raise your voice at me. This is not how you talk to your mother. Do not talk to me like that. Sit down. You are not too old for me to tell you what's right and what's wrong. Sit down. No, you will not be going back. Give me the keys to your car. You're grounded. Masculine energy. Masculine energy. Masculine energy. Then you get a man. And he leaves his socks on the floor. And he leaves the toilet bowl the wrong way. And his mug's on the counter. And your first instinct is, pick those socks. Do I look like your maid? Pick the socks up off the floor. You're driving me mental. How hard is it to take a mug and rinse it? Look, watch. Rinse, put in the, see? Come here, come back. Do not walk away from me when I'm talking to you. Who do you think you're talking to? Who do you think you are? Next thing you know, you're talking to him like who? His mom. Now, tell me if you think your man ever felt like a man with his mother. Is that like the thing that comes to mind, you think, for him when he's with his mom? Does he feel like a macho man? Like, I am turned on and I am sexy and I am a hard-working man and I can get things done. Is that the vibe he gets with his mom? Or does he get like, oh, sorry, I'll do it. I didn't do it on purpose. Sorry, mom. Like, that's the vibe he has. So when you go into masculine energy with a man, you immediately turn him into a teenager or a child. It's inevitable. It's the wiring of his brain. Even when he's going through something difficult and you're like, what's wrong? Come here. Come sit with me. Tell me what happened. How are you feeling? You can tell me anything. Come in my arms. Lay here. Tell me. Look at me. Look at your little face. What happened? His penis is shrinking as you speak. Like he can't. There's no manliness because the thing is, he likes it when you talk to him like that. He's like, yeah, love me. I'm small and tiny and I love it. Please. Like, he likes it. He likes it. So then you become mama. I made you your dinner. I made you your favorite thing. Come here. Pick that up. Put that thing away. Julia's like cock blocking him. Basically, you create an energy where it's like, sexuality has died. Let's have pudding. There is no magic like that. Now, he's either going to go into his little boy mode or he's going to go into his teenager mode who you're being a pain in the butt to. You're freaking out for nothing. Could you stop freaking out? You're being so overbearing. Like, leave me alone. Give me space. I just need to go. No, you don't need to know where I'm going. I'm not going to call you when I get there. You need to chill out and leave me alone. You're over emotional. You exaggerate. You're either going to get the teenager or the little boy. You will not get the man. The man, he will crawl on broken glass naked to save a princess in a tower that he's never met before because it's the prince thing to do. There's stories of sailors crashing their ships because there were mermaids, sirens. They just couldn't get enough. They crashed their ships and drowned for the siren mermaid on the edge. Men fight to the death for their women. That's what they do. They don't fight their women. When you do that, you kill the chemistry. Your job is not to tell him what to do, and your job is not to comfort him. Your job is to be the muse, the woman that makes him a better man. The one that when he's with, he just wants to take over the world. And when you're in the first 3 months of a relationship, that's the man you have. He wants to rip your doors wide open. He wants to break down the walls that you've built around your heart. He wants to come in like a soldier and be the one that gets you to believe in love again. He wants to turn it all around. He wants you to love him. He wants to conquer your heart. And then he wants to know what you want for dinner. Aaron says, that's what he said to me last week, word for word. So you've got a man on a horse wanting to come and get you like your brand sparkling new and you're going to change his life. And you get to be that woman until you decide that you give that magic up. And you can pick it back up at any time. No matter how bad things have gotten in your relationship, you can turn things around and it is not going to be hard. And I'm going to show you how to do it in this program and it's going to be magnificent. But I will tell you, you also create the same energy with your clients and you also create the same energy with your friends. Friendships break because people feel not good enough. Coaching relationships end because people feel mothered. As soon as you mother your clients, you're going to feel them pull away. And you're going to mother your clients when you're afraid they leave. You're going to get to a certain point in your business where your clients are going to become really good and they're going to become close to as good as you are. And that's going to scare you. Even if you're in network marketing, they start, getting up that ladder and you're like, and when we do that, and what happens to a mother whose babies are growing up? Text me when you get there. Don't go out past this time. No, careful. it just, I want to keep you close and safe. So you tend to mother the people that you don't want to lose. You'll do this in your business. You'll do this in your relationships. Smothering. So oxytocin, you don't need to do that when you are full of oxytocin, but oxytocin is the work of a self-actualized woman. You're able to keep your oxytocin high when you are in charge of you and you are aware of you. So why do we do girly things if we don't even know what they're for? Because I mean, who's ever experienced getting their nails done and all of a sudden you touch things differently? Like you've got your freshly new nails and you're just like opening things like everything's dainty and you're like moving the hair out of your face, like you're scratching yourself, you're doing your Facebook lives and all your nails are in all of your shots. What is that? We feel like so magic. You're drinking out of your glass and you're like, this tastes more delicious. The way you hold your knife and fork, you're just sexy from the tip of your fingers. Like, what is going on? When you get your hair done and you like want to touch it and you get a little whiff of it and you're like, so sexy. Like you feel it. You know, you get a new outfit and you look at yourself and you're like, gosh, I look good in this. It's crazy. You can't even see yourself. You're strutting down the street. You know, your makeup's perfect and on point. Your nails look good. You're like, you walk straighter. I feel good. Then there's other days you've got your like hair up in a, you know, this kind of thing. And you're like, I just hope that I don't meet anyone that I know. It's my only hope that I don't meet anyone that I know. And I'm like walking quickly, no strut in my step at all. I'm hoping I don't meet anybody that I know. Other days you're like, who can I meet that I know? Where are my people? I'm going to do a Facebook Live 3 times today. One in my group, one on my business page, everywhere. I look good. Who can I talk to? It changes everything about us. So the girly thing, it's not you get your nails done because you're a girl and it's like, ooh, I broke a nail. That's not the vibe. You get your nails done because it changes the way you touch everything. You don't do your makeup because you're ugly without makeup. You do your makeup because even though you can't see your face, you feel hot when you walk down the street for some crazy reason. If you don't need makeup to do that, then you don't need any. And this is what I found. Women who say, I don't really need makeup, they're right. Because the makeup doesn't change the face, it changes the confidence. Alicia Keys has stopped wearing makeup and she is one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. She does not need it at all and she rocks her outfits and her hair, and I never have the thought she should wear makeup. Because she knows how good she looks and the makeup is not needed. But when you wish you were wearing makeup, when you're like, I'm just not wearing makeup today and it lessens your vibe, you feel it all day. So the girly things you do, you don't do them because they're girly. You do them because they change the way you feel about yourself. That's why you do them. Shamik says, when you think you look like shit, that's when everyone says you look great. Sometimes that's the truth. And sometimes, I don't know if you ever experienced this, you go without makeup and you're like, whatever, I don't care today. And everybody's like, are you okay? You look exhausted. And you're like, thanks. Great. What's wrong? You look so tired. This is why I wear makeup. But it's a vibe. If you showed up and you're like, good morning, people be like, you look amazing even without makeup on. You show up like this with no makeup, and people are like, you okay? It's your vibe. Your vibe walks in the room first. Then you follow. How are you feeling today matters more than you could ever possibly imagine. So let's see what people are saying over here. Melissa's like, me right now with my robe, feeling damn good. I love that. And Tracy says, that's why I spend time curling my hair, straightening my hair. I love how I feel. That's amazing. I still struggle with ways to keep the oxytocin high. Would that also be called vibe? The vibe is what people get off of you. Your vibe is what you emit. Your oxytocin levels are what's responsible for how you feel. So you're going to find what's really important for you and what helps you have high oxytocin, and it's your job to make sure you take care of that. If you go to the gym and you get really sweaty, and when you take your shower and you wash the sweat off, you feel like a goddess, that is important. You're like, I need that moment in my life where I feel completely rejuvenated. I need it. If for you it's eating, for me, the crazy thing, like I feel like a goddess when I eat out of with the right cutlery. Like the right knife and fork change the meal for me. The right plate, the right glass, it changes the vibe for me. If I'm in a restaurant that's not so great, I will not even order wine if I see that the wine glasses don't look right. If they're like clunky and cheap, I'm like, I'm not even going to enjoy so I won't even have it. But if I walk into a place and I notice the glasses on the table, I'm like, what comes in that glass? Because I want it. Like, what's that? Whatever it is, I want to see it. Tracy says, this is one of the reasons I get bikini waxes, even when I'm not seeing anyone. I feel sexy. Kiki gets me. She hates rimmed wine glasses. Yes. So when you're soft, you know that feeling when you're in bed after you just shaved your legs or waxed your legs and it feels like cold and cool on your legs and you're like, gosh, I wish someone would touch me right now. That's the feeling. Someone should touch me right now. I'm amazing. I want someone to look at me right now. I'm beautiful. Who can I talk to? I'm in a good mood. Who can I interact with? Where can I go? Where can I go out? This is where all your magic happens. What makes you create that? What makes you create that in your life? This is where the oxytocin comes from. So you can do things like take a bubble bath. Taking a bubble bath, if you've got the scented candles and all the things and you're able to be in there and get in touch with, I'm in a bubble bath and I'm awesome. But if you're in the bubble bath and your kids are coming in to poop, that doesn't count as goddess mode. It's not going to work for you. It's got to be like you're in the zone. You go and you get your nails done. If you're getting your nails done and you're on the phone the entire time, you're missing out. Feel someone love your hands and take care of them and shape them and take the time to feel pampered. It changes everything. The feeling of someone washing your hair and being like, oh my gosh, this is so good. So if you're saying like, I fail goddess mode, it's not that you necessarily fail goddess mode, but if your kids are bothering you when you're taking a bath, the bath is not where you're going to get your oxytocin. It's going to be from somewhere else. As we speak, let's see what this says. Now, as we speak in the tub, they are everywhere, the kids. So if you have kids, you're going to have to choose little moments for you. You're going to have to choose little moments for you if you have kids that make you be able to be connected with yourself. Maybe you need to go out and get your nails done. Maybe you need to go out and take yourself out for lunch. Sorry, I keep getting kicked off of Wi-Fi for some reason. So you're going to have to find something that really makes you feel different and pay attention to it. Going to the gym doesn't create oxytocin, it creates testosterone. Long walks and yoga will create oxytocin, but what will create oxytocin is the feeling when you shower and you get ready after the gym. You know that feeling I'm talking about? After, when you're like, whew, I feel tight and good and sexy. That's when you're going to get it, not at the gym. Unless there's a really cute guy looking at your butt while you're doing it. Melissa says, sometimes I take myself on a date, I eat alone, drink alone, and sometimes waits on me as mom. It's amazing. Take yourself out on a date. Absolutely. Nicole says, so my son's spitting up all over me right now doesn't produce oxytocin. It doesn't produce oxytocin while he's spitting up on you, but believe it or not, it does produce oxytocin when you're sitting on your couch and he's breastfeeding and he's drinking and you're looking at his little face and you're so in love that you can't handle it. That little moment that comes, that little glimpse of like, this is perfect, that lasts like a second, that moment, that one's full of oxytocin. That little moment. So being a mom is not, smiles all morning. That moment when he laughs and you look at his little face and you're like, I'm going to die. I love you so much. I'm going to pass out. Like, I don't know what to do with this feeling. There's no room in my chest. That's the same feeling as when you're driving up to the new guy's house and you're like, oh my God. It's like an opening of the chest, like a connection to pure potentiality. Like in this moment, I could do anything. And you can produce this for yourself. Yes, you can take yourself out on dates. You can sit down with yourself and order a glass of wine with your freshly done nails and drink your glass of wine, feeling like $1 million, writing in a journal, feeling connected, journaling. Who here has ever experienced being single as being one of their most connected times with themselves in their life, feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like when you really get back in the zone and you're working out and you're getting ready and you're dating, but you're not in a committed relationship and you can flirt and you're doing all the things, that zone, a lot of people find that that's one of their most connected times. That and the early dating stages, you know, like when you're like, okay, I'm really taking care of me. Violet says, when I first met Nick and I'd go visit him, I'd actually be shaking because I was so excited and nervous. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I used to drive from Montreal to Toronto, which was like a solid, on days where there was traffic, like 5-6 hours on a good day, sometimes more if I got stuck in rush hour traffic. And I listened to music and I could feel him. Like it didn't matter how far he was. I would drive from Montreal to Windsor, which is like driving from Albany, New York to Michigan to go and be with him. Like I couldn't be, I didn't care. The time flew. I just couldn't wait to see him. Imagine that passion in your business. Imagine that passion anywhere else in your life. You could do anything. So oxytocin is a real thing. It's really important. If you don't harness it, then as soon as it gets falsely created in your life, you fall hard for the first person that shows up. Some of you are single and you've decided the next relationship you're going to be in is going to be the right relationship. Like you're not going to mess around again. In order to do that, you have got to figure out how to make yourself happy and feel good before the guy comes, or else it will take tiny little thing and next thing you know, you'll be in love and it's not the right guy. So we don't want to do that. Some of you are dating. You're in the romance phase now and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want this to go away. So if you don't want it to go away, you've got to really be clear on who you're being right now. What's different about who you're being, how you interact with yourself, what you believe about yourself, how you treat yourself, how you interact with him, the cuteness, the noticing everything he does well, the telling him, oh, you're so cute, you're so good, you make me happy, I feel so good. Like you just want to tell him all the time how good you feel. That is magic. Some of you are in great relationships and you're like, my relationship is actually great. Obviously, it's not like butterflies like that anymore, but it's a great relationship. And you're listening to all this and you're like, I miss the butterfly phase. I wonder if I could bring that back. That sounds pretty cool if we could bring that back. That'd be pretty awesome. Some of you are like, I'm worried for my relationship. I wonder if this is too late. It's never too late. Some of you are like, it's over and it should have been over a long time ago. This was the wrong relationship. That's okay. That's okay. Wherever you are in your relationship phase right now, I want you to know that this is so important, no matter where you are, that you harness this. Your own oxytocin. So your homework is to remember and act upon the things that make you feel like that. If it means on all Femme Fatale days, you dress up in a way that makes you feel sexy, like really be sexy all day, in anticipation for the call, and tap into your feminine energy on the day of the calls. So if you're in masculine energy, you know you can make bank in your living room with your sweats on, rocking a top bun. Like you don't need anything and your money's coming in. Like you don't need to go out and get fancy, but do it for you. On the days where there's Femme Fatale, decide who you want to be and how you want to look for you. Because when you're only getting dolled up because you're seeing him, when you're missing out on the magic, which is that this actually works in your life so much. Like it's not just for him. Your life is better in the moment where you're happy and switched on and turned on. The way I see it, women are like walking around a lot of the times with this shell. And if they just turned the light on inside of them, they would be this walking, luminous, extraordinary thing that either reminds women, hey, this is who we are, and reminds men, like, I'm alive. This is what we're meant to be. We're meant to be switched on, turned on to life. Women are magic. In our next module, we're going to talk about this in a way that's going to make you want to fly. You are magic beyond belief, but you've got to own it and claim it first. So can you see that there is a chemical in your body that's released that makes it easier to be this way? The beginning of a relationship, the flirting phase, whatever it is for you that makes it like, okay, there's something that's helping me. There's something that can help me. If it's not there, it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you've got to decide to create it without the chemical, without the added ease. You've got to decide that you're going to bring your sexy back. Here's one of the things about an alpha femme. The alpha femme is she who leads herself. The alpha femme is the woman that women want to be and men want to be with. She's got a magnetism that is not understandable. It's like, what is it about you? I'm obsessed. Like, I just love you so much. She's a leader of people because she leads herself, and other people just like, oh my gosh, this is what I want. It isn't hard work to lead people. All you need to do is walk. And if they like where you're going, they'll be right there. And one of the important things about Femme Fatale is you're going to learn compound leadership, which is when a leader leads a leader, instead of when a leader leads a follower. When a leader leads a follower, it'll get you to a certain level of success. But when you learn to lead leaders, your life changes. On this call with us today, we have women that are out of this world outstanding in all different kinds of walks of life, that have all kinds of different levels of success. Successful marriages, some of them incredibly successful businesses, some of them incredibly successful, discipline, health. Like, we've got some leaders in here galore. To lead a leader is a privilege. And when you become a leader of leaders, your business changes and your life changes because who surrounds you up levels massively. But you cannot lead a leader with words only, because leaders watch. Show me. Let's see what you got. If I see that you've got something I want, I'll follow. But you got to be moving. I've got to see what direction you're marching in before I turn in your direction. So to lead leaders, you got to do it. Leaders feel. They're like, okay, we're going to go this way. We're going to follow this one. Leaders follow the one who's walking, not the one who's talking. So the next couple of days, your job is to really tap into this oxytocin of yours. Even if it means like painting your own nails, figure out how to get a bubble bath, figure out how to get a pair of high heels on and go practice walking. When's the last time you walked like you wanted someone to look? Remember that feeling? Like strutting my stuff? What conscious walking? It's like, I did that today. Walk like you care. Walk like you care. I have a story about high heels that I'm going to share with you during this program as well. It's going to make you want to rock high heels. Get your nails done. Wash your hair and have it be like silky soft where you can't stop touching it. Have a bubble bath long enough to realize you're having a bubble bath. You know that moment it hits you, it's like 1 second long and it's like, I'm having a bubble bath. This is a good moment. Then you remember what you've got to make for dinner and the whole thing goes down the drain. But there's one moment where you realize you were blissful. Go for that moment. Shave your legs, wash your sheets, roll around in your sheets. This is real. It's for you, not for him. And when it becomes for you, it becomes for him. It's not for them, it's for you. But when it becomes for you, it becomes for them. This is the magic of leadership. You lead yourself first. People fall in love with how they feel about themselves around you. If they feel like they can do anything, they will want to be with you every second of every day. It's so simple. Men need to feel their testosterone skyrocket. And what makes a man feel filled with testosterone is when he's succeeding. If you're happy, he will think it's his fault. That's a good thing. When he feels like what he's doing is working, he is so excited to do more. But when he feels like what he's doing is not working, he does less. Every time you're upset, you'd think that if you're upset, he'd want to do more. Like, she's upset, I should do more. No. He actually enjoys doing more when it's working. It feels easier. Like, she likes this. I'm doing more. I want to give more. I want to do more. Your ability to feel and accept and love what he's doing, your ability to say, I feel so good when you do that, or I feel so good with you, and we're going to go into wording and how to talk about it too. It makes a huge difference. But if he's with you and you're happy, he will take full credit for that. I have a happy wife. I'm a cool guy. My wife's happy. I don't know about your wife, but my wife, she's happy. Your wife doesn't do this. She doesn't get her nails done anymore. She stops taking care of herself. My wife, she's brilliant, my wife. They take full credit for your joy. They also take full credit for your sadness. And that is when they are the most down. When you're stressed and you're upset and you're unhappy and it's not enough, he takes that upon himself as well. And every time he feels like his results with you are not good, his testosterone plummets. The happier he is, the happier he is. You tell him he's sexy now, he'll be at the gym next week. You tell him he's got weight to lose, he is not moving. Tell him how sexy he is. He'll want to hear it more. He'll be like, what can I do more? I love this. I want to do more. They're results driven. When there's results, they drive. There's got to be results though. What makes a man run after you in the beginning is the fact that it's enjoyable to run after you. Every time he catches you for a second, he feels so happy. Erica says, Larry loves to see how happy I am after I get my hair and nails done. Of course, they love it. Now, if you are in a relationship where, and this is a very important piece of this program, if you're in an abusive relationship, your man will not like you being happy. It'll feel very threatening because happiness means confidence. Confidence means self-esteem. Self-esteem means boundaries. Boundaries mean he's got a lot less control. If you're in an abusive relationship, Femme Fatale is not going to help you heal that relationship. It's going to help you leave it. So if while I'm speaking to you here, you're thinking, my guy hates it when I'm happy. I feel like every time I do something good, he destroys it. He poo-poos it. He makes me feel bad about it. This guy's going to go. Because that's not how empowered men react around happy women. Empowered men love a happy woman. Broken down men are afraid that you might become so happy you may become so happy that you don't need him. So just know that this program is going to either have you have the relationship of your dreams by growing into it or leaving it. And it does help you see how you can attract more and be more. Okay. So your man, if you have one, also wishes that he could be everything for you. He wishes that you dreamt about him the way you dreamt about him in the beginning. He wishes that when he touches your leg slightly, he could feel your entire body respond the way it did when he first met you. He wishes that when he kissed your neck, it made you feel like, the way it did in the beginning, instead of, hey, don't do that, the kids are in the next room, move. He wishes you still smelt his perfume. He wishes he still had that power. He wishes that Good Morning Gorgeous still gave you butterflies. It's hard for him that it doesn't. So this is actually one of the most empowering things that you can do for yourself, for your man, for your relationship, is to start noticing. No problem. So I am going to give you the task, the homework of not only really tapping into what makes you feel good about yourself, because when you feel good about yourself, people feel good with themselves around you, but to notice your man. And if you don't have a man, notice men in general. for who they are too. Not just moving parts in your life, but like, just notice. Just notice. Tell your guy, he ask him, touch him if you see something beautiful about him, a back muscle, and be like, ooh, I love this back muscle. If you notice that he touches you in a way that you like, just say, I like it when you touch me like that. Watch what happens when you start interacting with him the way you used to. It will be immediate. Check him out. Check him out tomorrow. Make sure he catches you doing it. Look at his butt and be like, pretty good. Life's too short. I'm telling you right now, this program's going to have you reclaim what you forgot was yours. And if you don't have a man to check out, go check someone else's man out tomorrow. Don't do anything about it, but just go look at a butt. It feels good. You're alive. You're alive and awake, and you're the youngest you'll ever be. Don't forget that. Tap into your power, your magic. The thing that makes you irresistible is when you're right here, right now in the moment, when you're aware. Oxytocin a lot of times is what brings you back to awareness. You're aware that you've got hair when it's soft and it's flowy. You're aware of your hands when your nails are long. When you're aware of your walk because you care about how you walk. Your awareness. Your consciousness of self instead of your self-consciousness. That's what makes people turn their attention, their focus, their love to you. That's what makes you magnetic. So this is the homework. Notice a man, notice the testosterone, notice the manly energy, and notice your feminine energy and what makes you aware of yourself, that feeling when you're tapped into you. Share with us in the group how it feels, what you've noticed. I'm very excited to see what happens next. And our next call is called Goddess Mode. Make sure you have bite-sized snacks for our next call. You're going to need them. I'm going to suggest fruit like grapes or strawberries or something like that. We're going to have a lot of fun on the next call. And if you can bring a beverage, bring it in a nice glass, like a wine glass. And you know what? Bring a fork. Bring a fork for the next round. We're going to have a lot of fun. So a fork, a beautiful wine glass or a champagne flute with your water in it, and bite-sized snacks. We are going to have, not Cheetos, no. We're going to have a lot of fun. Okay, so I love you so much. If you are done and you're ready to go, you can go. I'm going to take a few questions. If you've got questions for me, I'm going to close the recording so that we can get started. Thank you for being here. Have an incredible evening, and we will talk soon. Okay, let me.
Femme fatale.